Hi guys, it's Sarah from My Indie Life blog here. Welcome to the podcast. Today is going to be the first of a new series of mini podcast episodes that are going to be centered around walking through walking through tech aspects of systems that I think are really super useful and super valuable to your indie craft business. So stick around because today I'm going to be going through Asana, which is my favorite productivity tool. Okay, so I'm going to make me much smaller there. You shall see me in the corner, hopefully, and you'll be able to see Asana set up. Now, Asana.com is a productivity tool that is set up to help you manage your daily to-dos, if you like, and to do it in a way that allows you to see your calendar as a whole, which is how we're viewing the screen currently, and then also to break your projects down into tasks. And how I use this primarily is that I usually set up projects ahead of time and then break those projects down into smaller manageable tasks that I can then schedule in on my day-to-day. That way I'm amassing all of my tasks at once and filtering them out over my weeks or the months or the length of time that I want my project to go over. And more importantly, I'm also able to then manage my day-to-day, so I can see at any point in time where I might not have enough time to deal with things, so I can shift things around in a nice, easy way. The reason why I use Asana is that I used to use I used to be one of those people who had like 101 to-do lists in all kinds of different places, in notepads, on scraps of paper, and you know what it's like. If you have all of those to-do lists everywhere, including a wall calendar and a this and a that and a daily planner and a whatever, then what generally happens is you become so overwhelmed and so muddled that sometimes you occasionally miss the odd thing here and there, and sometimes you don't actually feel like you're really getting stuff done. So when I found Asana, I wanted to try and use it as a tool that would help me dispel all of that problems, because what I was ending up with in that situation of having all of those to-do lists was that I was spending, maybe half an hour here and there collating all of those lists together and writing out one big to-do list, which just made me feel even more overwhelmed. And Asana for me has cured that problem, so I want to share it with you. So I'm going to delete the little picture of me at the bottom of the page so that we can concentrate on the screen and see exactly how this can work for you. Okay. Right. So here I am in Asana. You can find Asana at asana.com, and the setup is very, very easy. It's a completely free service if you have a personal account. And if you have a small business, then that's really all you need. So when you start off in Asana, they will have a couple of prompts that walk you through how to set up your first project. And you can see down here that I've set up my first project, which I've called To-Dos. I'm going to just click through onto that, and you can see that it opens up a project page, which then allows me to add tasks. So this is how I'm going to add a task. I just press the Add the Task button, and I'm going to write something down like order a ream of paper in capitals. I seem to be shouting to myself. But that's, maybe a general admin task that I want to get done. So you'll notice that once I started inputting that, what happens here is it's allowing me to write on this side of the page as my general task list, but over here it's created a page just for that individual task. So what I can then do on this page is I can give myself a date in which I would like to finish that particular task by. So I'm going to set that for today, because that's probably something I can quickly tick off, and it's maybe something that I need to do. So on this page, once I've set up the name of the task and given it a date, there are a couple of other things that I can do. And these are all of these buttons across to the right of the date. The first one is a like button and the second one is a tag button. You don't need to worry about these. Just for your information, Asana is really set up for larger teams of people to work on projects together. And it allows for those businesses to constantly keep an eye on the workflow and manage projects so that they make sure that they run to time. Because we are working just as a solopreneur, then we aren't going to need some of the functions that Asana has on the free service. But that's fine, they're there, we know they're there, I've now explained what they do. So liking is obviously liking a task that somebody else has created, and tagging would be to, you know, kind of help you filter when you're looking through certain information later on. This button, however, is called the subtask button, and that is something that you probably may want to use in the future. So let's say we want to create a subtask for that, and a subtask could be to research a new paper supplier. I'm just going to add a date. I'm going to call that the 19th. I'm going to then add a second subtask, which is, has my ream of paper arrived yet? And this is just, I'm setting this up so that if it hasn't arrived next week, I've prompted myself that I've remembered that I've got the supplies order waiting to come in. If it hasn't come in, I can chase it. So you can see immediately that as you create a task, you can create subtasks that help you manage that particular thing and get it done. The next button up above here is attachments. Now, you may not need to use this in most cases, but for example, say if my task was something like research the best ways to increase my Facebook engagement. And say, for example, somebody was giving away a free PDF that I signed up for, I could add an attachment there that will show up as a file later on down here. Let me see if I can find something. Just a random picture. And you can see that it's uploading there. So say if I've got something that I need to read at a later date and it's in PDF form, I can attach it here so that when the task happens, you know, when this task comes round, I can immediately know all I need to know about it so that I can go straight into actually working on the task. All of the other points across the top here, the more actions button will show you that you can delete a task or a subtask, and so on and so forth. So those are quite sort of self-evident there. The other thing that you can do, you can see that that JPEG image has added itself there, which is quite nice, is you can add a comment. So for example, say we've got to the point where this ream of paper hasn't arrived, we could say called supplier Thursday, I don't know, 18th Jan, and price is ream or whatever. I mean, it spell checks as well, so which is quite useful because I seem to not be able to type today. But you can see there that you can add comments. So if I add that comment, you see that JPEG image has shown up. It will also add those comments there. So when I come to order my ream of paper, I've got maybe some price details from some earlier research that I've done as a separate subtask. Once I've completed each of these, I can tick them off if I want to. And we can either do that in the page right here, or we can view this whole task and this whole project in a different way. So if I go to calendar over on the left hand side there, and press today, you'll start to see that each of those, the task and the subtasks, have shown up on the relevant days that I added them to. So I can also say, for example, tick the tasks off here as well. So there's different ways that you can view your tasks as you create them. Now, immediately you can probably see a number of different ways that you can use this, and how easy it is to think ahead of time of all of the different aspects of a certain project that you need to get done. Write it all out and schedule it for yourself, so that you're literally coming in on the day-to-day and being productive by just getting on and making that phone call, ordering that ream of paper, or doing that little bit of research and just getting stuff done. So I'm going to, just below the team calendar, you'll see that's where you can access your projects. So that's where we've got that lovely to-do list that we just wrote. Now, you're probably thinking, well, she had a task there and it's disappeared. Well, that's because we actually marked it as complete. So if I change the view here to all tasks, you can see it appears again. But for the purpose of Asana and our general day-to-day, I generally keep it as incomplete, because it just means if we're looking in this view, we can see exactly what needs doing, what's left to do. And on the team calendar, I can literally see my workflow as I'm working, which is quite nice. Okay, so back in the project section over here, this is where you can add a new project. So already I'm thinking that we could have a marketing project board. Now, every one of us needs to do marketing, and it's something that we need to do every single week. So I'm going to create a new project here, and I'm going to call it marketing. And this is where all of the information for that particular project is going to sit. Now, the original task list that I just showed you for to-dos was a list layout. So it's literally one by one by one. There's another layout, which I actually think is quite useful for bigger projects of work, like the marketing project, and that's a board. So I'm going to press board and then press create project. And the first time that you set up one of these particular boards, it will ask you to add columns, and it will give you a little bit more information about how to use it. Asana is very good at giving you the right information and really easy, accessible tutorials as you work along. So you never really need to feel lost. But let's press add columns, and you can see that you've got one column here. So let's say, for example, Facebook biz page is one sub project that I want to get done in marketing. Next is Instagram. Next is magazines. My blog, other blogs, and you can see that you can add as many columns as you need to add. So let's go back to the beginning and say Facebook page. So how do we add a task there? There are a couple of different ways we can add the task. We can add a task by pressing the button, which is the most simple way of doing it. So I'm going to add a task like set up FB page, then press enter. What that will do is that will set up that task for you, which you can then give that a date. So let's give that Tuesday, and then you can keep adding tasks to each of these as it's relevant. The other thing you can do when you create a task is you can set it to repeat. So for example, let's say on our Facebook page, we know that every week we're going to schedule new FB content. So schedule new Facebook content. I'm going to add a date, so I want to do that Monday. If you press that again, you can, because sometimes it will automatically close down, you can see down the bottom that you can either add a due time. So for example, if it's a recurring meeting, like I have client meetings that we hold once a month, then I could set a date a time, and I could set that to repeat. So that's one thing you can do. Setting repeat works like this. So just press to set the repeat, and then press where it says repeat after 7 days, and it will show you how you can then set that up. So I'm going to press weekly in this instance. I want it to happen every week on a Monday, on a Wednesday, and a Friday. Done. That means that's recurring. How do I know that that task is going to recur? If I double press that and it opens up, you'll see that it's got the date and the time, and that little circular symbol there shows that it's on repeat. Again, when you have these things open, you can add comments, you can add subtasks, and all of those things that I talked about on the other task page. It works exactly the same. The other great thing about setting up your projects along the left-hand side means that you can color code these, which sounds terribly nerdy. Let me show you how to do that. You press the down arrow by the side of the project header, then set highlight color. So I'm going to set this to a nice sort of orangey color. Then when I go to team calendar there over on the left, because whilst it doesn't show as orange on this page, on the team calendar page, just press that and then press today, you can see that all the scheduled tasks come up in a specific color. And what really helps is that this separates specific projects where I need to have real, clear and considered focus from my sort of general daily to-dos. So on my own My Indie Life blog version of Asana, you can imagine that it's awash with different colours where I've created many different projects and colour-coded each of them. And that just helps me at a glance when I look at my day-to-day to know exactly what I need to focus on, and occasionally for how long as well, because sometimes in my task headers I might put, say, work on this for an hour, for example. If you've been with me for a while, you know that I always like to talk about setting up goals, either on for a small period of time, or this year we actually just did a challenge in the Facebook group for our 2018 goals. And I've actually set up a project on my Asana board just for that particular goal, so that every time I come to a day where I have got something to work on that goal specifically, it's highlighted for me in a specific colour, and I know exactly what I need to be doing, which is fantastic because it means that as I come to this work, my head is in the right space to just get it done. Okay, now say for example that one of these tasks I know that I'm not going to be able to complete that day, or say for example I've got a ton of tasks to do that day and I know that I want to shift some stuff around. There are a couple of ways we can do this. We can press on the task within the calendar. It will pop up on the task page. You can change the date that way by pressing there and then pressing the number that you want, so that shifts it to a new day. Or the other thing you can do is you can literally pick it up with your left mouse button, hold the left mouse button down and drag it to the day that you want it, which is fantastic. It means that no longer do I have 101 lists where, you know, half of the content is scribbled out, things are shifted over to other pages, and where I've grabbed lots of different colour pens by mistake usually. It means that, you know, nothing kind of makes sense. So already my day is clear on exactly what I need to get done. So not only do I feel motivated and productive each day, but I'm also doing one really big thing for my business. And it means that I'm stepping back. And when I'm setting up these projects, I'm always looking at the bigger picture. And that's something that really helps you in your craft business, because it means that you can manage production for specific craft shows without, you know, running late or working till, you know, God knows what hour in the morning to get stuff labeled and done and out to the show. It means that you can spend some time on actually sitting down and marketing yourself again, which is really important. And it means that you can really think in depth before you start working on projects, exactly how they're going to work and exactly how much detail you need to go into. So it means that when you come in on the day-to-day, all you've really got to do is worry about getting the tasks done. And you can always add another task if you want to, or take one away if it's completely superfluous. So just to show you again how you might delete something, if I open that up, just press the More Action button and you can delete there. Okay, so that's a really quick introduction on how to use Asana. I hope that's been super useful. I know that I love this tool and I know that it's going to be really helpful for you guys. It's completely free to use, so do go and check it out at asana.com. I'm going to switch the camera, so hopefully you might be able to see me. Let's see. Yes, you can see me. This is the first time I'm using this particular piece of software. So it's loom.com, I think, but I'll talk you through that in a future episode maybe. But yeah, there you go. There you have it. That's my Asana tutorial. Thank you so much for watching today. If you have any comments or questions on how to use Asana, or comments and questions on how else you can be productive, then pop those in the comments section below this video and I'll answer them for you. Okay, so I will see you soon, guys. Bye.